Hello friends! Have you ever wondered what the stars, numbers, and even the ancient wisdom of trees, flowers, and stones might say about a single day in your life? Today, we're diving deep into October 4th, a date that carries its own rhythm in the universe. This isn't just a horoscope, it's a cosmic map drawn from multiple traditions: the classic Western Zodiac, the Druid's tree astrology, Vedic insights, flower and stone horoscopes, and even the hidden codes of numerology. Let's take this journey sign by sign, path by path, and see what October 4th might hold for you. After watching, if you'd like to support the channel, click the Thanks button right under this video or use the donation alerts link in the description. Your support really helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for being here. Now let's continue. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. Western horoscope. For Aries, October 4th feels like a match being struck in a quiet room, not an explosion that scatters embers, but a single, decisive flash that wakes everything up around it. The moon's subtle tension with Mars, your chart's red engine, creates a nervous current under your skin. You may notice a quickening of breath, an impatience at small delays, and an instinct to solve problems by moving first and asking questions later. Practically speaking, this presents as sudden leadership openings at work, a meeting where no one volunteered to steer the project, a client request that needs a confident voice, an ambiguous crisis that rewards someone who decides. Those are tempting moments for you. The trick is to convert impulsive courage into deliberate initiative. Instead of charging straight ahead, create 2 quick checkpoints before action, a calm breath and a one-sentence plan that maps next steps. In interpersonal realms, passion will arrive with the same intensity. Conversations that usually stay warm may flare into something more charged. A flirtatious remark could light a meaningful exchange, but a careless word, especially delivered in anger, could singe trust you've been building. The suggestion for October 4th is not to snuff out your fire but to channel it. Use physical motion to transmute raw energy. A brisk walk, a focused set of push-ups, or an urgent 5-minute tidy of your workspace. In conflict, take the first pause. In opportunity, be first to volunteer but first to align with a simple plan you can follow through. If you adopt this 2-step approach, ignite, then map, you keep the momentum that defines you while avoiding the collateral damage of headlong action. Keep your flame steady, not wild. Druid horoscope. Your Druid tree is the maple, colorful, restless, always searching for new experience, and its lesson for October 4th is about the elegance of intentional change. Maple trees are not the slow, patient giants. They shift color and light with the season, demonstrating that transformation can be both beautiful and purposeful. For you, Aries, the maple's counsel is practical and physical. Recognize when your urge to move forward is actually a nudge to reframe a direction, not necessarily to accelerate it. The Druids would advise you to walk among maples, notice the pattern of their branches, and bring that observation back into your day. Consider a small ritual. Carry a fallen maple leaf or sketch one in your notebook. Name the change you want to welcome and one habit you will release to make room for it. The spiritual instruction is not mystical do-nothingness but a disciplined openness. Be willing to change course when the wind shifts, but do so with intention rather than panic. In group settings, maple energy teaches cooperation. Climbing toward sun requires nodes that support each other. So when work demands leadership, build in visible supports for your team. When romance intensifies, invite your partner into the change rather than imposing it. Maple's image also helps you soften rigidity. You can be adventurous without abandoning the roots that give you strength. Vedic horoscope. In Vedic astrology, Aries is Mesha and Mars is your ruling force. That raw, pioneering energy is familiar territory for you. Yet the nakshatra nuance of the day leans toward listening before acting. Imagine a teacher stepping into your life disguised as an interruption, a mentor at a cafe, a candid comment from a colleague, or a passing line in a book that lands with surprising clarity. This influence suggests that wisdom today often arrives in receptive moments rather than in the roar of your own voice. Practically, this means you benefit if you intentionally create short windows for input. Schedule a 30-minute check-in with someone whose perspective you trust, spend 15 minutes reading something outside your usual feed, or ask one open question instead of issuing directives. In Vedic thought, courage without discrimination is incomplete courage. The highest form includes discernment. Use Mars's assertive push to take action, but couple it with an inquiry reflex. Before launching into a big decision, ask, "What am I not seeing?" and listen for the answer. That simple habit helps convert impulse into informed daring, and it increases the likelihood that the leadership chances you step into today will be durable rather than fleeting. Flower horoscope. Your flower is the honeysuckle, sweet, climbing, and always turning toward the sun, and its message for October 4th is about the quality of your ascent. Honeysuckle doesn't scramble alone. It seeks structures and other plants to climb upon, attracting pollinators with fragrance and cooperation rather than conquest. For Aries, the metaphor is direct. Growth happens faster and safer when you attach to the right supports. If a new project tempts you to outpace others, consider the elegance of inviting help, who in your sphere can amplify what you do rather than compete with it. In practical terms, this might mean drafting a brief invitation to collaborate rather than a solo manifesto, sharing a credit rather than hoarding it, or pairing with a partner whose strengths offset your blind spots. Honeysuckle also reminds you to pay attention to small pleasures that feed big energy. Morning coffee with someone you like, a shared joke during a stressful meeting, or a brief walk to notice the sky. Those small, sweet moments lubricate your drive and help you avoid the brittle strain of solitary ambition. On a personal development level, use the image of the honeysuckle to journal about your alliances. List 3 people who elevate you in one small way to show appreciation today. Stone horoscope. Your stone is ruby, a gem associated with vitality, courage, and a righteous sheen of self-possession. On October 4th, ruby acts like a mirror for your inner engine. When you hold it or wear it, you amplify presence and conviction. That's valuable for a day when leadership opportunities appear, because ruby sharpens the voice and steadies nerves. However, ruby's power has a companion warning. Amplified confidence, if unchecked, can harden into arrogance. The practical application is to pair ruby with humility rituals. When you clasp the stone for an extra surge, follow it by a quiet 5-minute rest, or write down one thing you don't yet know about the situation you're entering. If you're meeting a potential client or having a charged conversation, put ruby in your pocket and touch it before you speak. It can be a tactile cue to step into clarity rather than blunt force. Emotionally, ruby can also warm relationships. If you've been distant, carrying the stone while composing a sincere note may help you open softer channels. Ruby's historical symbolism used by leaders to command presence is useful, but remember its highest gift, empowering you to act from aligned confidence, not from the need to prove. Numerology. Calculating October 4th, the vibration of 4 brings themes of freedom, change, adaptability, and the appetite for new experience. For an Aries, a sign already inclined toward movement, this number sharpens the invitation to experiment responsibly. Rather than unstructured impulsiveness, 4 asks you to take calculated leaps. Choose a quick test run for a new idea, a single phone call, a short prototype, a 2-hour pilot that gives data without a sunk cost commitment. Numerologically, 4 also asks you to pay attention to curiosity. What are you most eager to learn about right now? Make one small, concrete move toward that learning today. Read one focused article, enroll in a short class, ask someone one insightful question. The larger message for Aries on October 4th is synthesis. Match your characteristic will with a portable plan. Structure your impulse into a micro project with 3 simple checkpoints, and you'll convert raw energy into momentum that lasts past the initial spark. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Western horoscope. Taurus enters October 4th with Venus shining softly over your sign, giving you a measured glow that favors slow, satisfying progress rather than sudden leaps. The day asks you to merge comfort with ambition, to extend the stability you value into new terrain without abandoning the sense of security that sustains you. In work, opportunities for financial growth may present themselves, but they typically require you to step out of your familiar corner. A negotiation that expects you to assert value, a project that asks for an updated skill set, or a partnership that tilts your routine. Your practical orientation benefits you here because you can test a proposal slowly, request a trial period, propose phased payments, or set measurable milestones rather than committing immediately. In relationships, Venus's influence creates a romantic glow. You are warmer, more generous, and more sensually tuned. Yet the same emotional economy that makes you steady can bend into comparison and possessiveness on October 4th. You may find yourself measuring your partner's gestures against an internal ledger of expectations. The day's advice is to lean into appreciation rather than accounting. Name 3 small things you value in a person rather than cataloging what's missing. Comfort will not sabotage ambition if you introduce change incrementally. Pick one corner of your life to renovate, a part of your morning routine, a skill to learn, or a financial habit to review, and do it with the slow, methodical creativity that serves you best. Let patience be your strategy rather than your default. Druid Horoscope. Your Druid tree is the oak, a living symbol of stability, deep roots, and measured endurance. On October 4th, the oak's counsel for Taurus is twofold: honor your strength and practice flexible resilience. Oaks anchor landscapes, but they are not immune to wind. The branches that survive are those that bend within the span of their limits. For you, this suggests a ritual of intentional suppleness. Morning stretches that expand physical flexibility, an evening practice of imagining alternative plans so that your mind can learn to pivot without panic, or a simple act like rearranging one piece of furniture to experience change in a controlled, sensory way. The oak also invites you to tap into long-term perspective. Plant a small seed of future security today. Schedule a meeting with a financial advisor, start a savings draft, or open a folder titled 5-Year Ambitions and write 3 steady steps toward them. The Druid wisdom is compassionate. You do not have to rush change to prove you are brave. Braveness for Taurus often looks like slow, deliberate adjustment that preserves dignity and comfort. Vedic Horoscope. As Vrishabha, Taurus is ruled by Venus Shukra, and Vedic tradition emphasizes the power of attraction and cultivated beauty. October 4th has a beneficial tone for acts of giving and aesthetic refinement. Vedic advice for you today is practical. Perform a small ritual of offering that aligns abundance with gratitude. Give your time, knowledge, or a small token to someone who could use it, and notice how the exchange shifts your internal sense of wealth. This isn't superstition so much as psychology. Generosity loosens scarcity thinking and invites reciprocal flow. The Vedic perspective also favors the arts as a stabilizing, expansive practice. Consider spending dedicated time on a musical, culinary, or design project, something that allows Venusian faculties to expand. Finally, in decisions about money or partnerships, rely on a steady process. Gather 3 data points, consult one trusted person, and delay emotional commitments by a single day to avoid choices made purely from comfort or fear. Flower Horoscope. The lily represents your gentle spirit and the cleaning power of ritual, and on October 4th its message for Taurus is to cleanse and release. Lilies flower with a focused, fragrant perfection that asks you to remove clutter, internal or external, that has been hiding beneath comfort. Practically, the lily's counsel is to declutter one physical space that impacts your sense of well-being. Clear a drawer, streamline your wardrobe, or organize your finances into a single, readable sheet. The act is both symbolic and functional. Clearing space gives your mind room to imagine new possibilities while keeping the comforting structures you value. Emotionally, the lily invites you to release one old grievance by writing a short letter not necessarily sent that expresses what you've been holding. That release creates a pocket of energy you can reinvest into growth, an evening class, a new professional connection, or even a small, carefully chosen purchase that feels like an investment rather than escapism. Stone Horoscope. Your stone is emerald, a gem historically associated with wisdom, communication, and the green calm of the earth. On October 4th, emerald supports clarity in finances and relationships, two areas where Taurus naturally orients itself. If you are entering a negotiation, carry emerald in jewelry or simply as an image on your desk to anchor your intention to speak with both firmness and charm. Emerald's vibration is not about quick wins. It encourages long-term clarity. Ask precise questions, keep records, and make decisions that look good not just today but in the ledger of a year. Emotionally, emerald can help you express affection without slipping into possessiveness. It fosters honest language that is still soft. For a simple practical exercise, hold emerald while you draft one financial goal for the next 90 days and list 3 small actions that will move you toward it. The stone's presence makes this task feel less like a demand and more like a cultivated plan. Numerology. Using the date October 4th. The vibration of 4 is about change, curiosity, and liberation from stale patterns. For Taurus, whose natural preference is steadiness and accumulation, the number 4 invites a strategic loosening of grip. This doesn't mean abandoning the security you've built. It means letting a sliver of your life be available for experiment. Numerologically, the day favors short, high-yield experiments. Take a micro course that could expand your skills, test a new supplier for business, or commit to a small weekly ritual that pushes your comfort boundary. Financially, 4's energy suits transitional investments in knowledge or mobility rather than purely material indulgence. Translate the numerology into action by picking one area where you will allow controlled change for the next 30 days, setting an exit criterion, and tracking results. This blends your natural Taurian prudence with a numerological push toward expansion, a combination designed to create growth that feels both adventurous and sensible. Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. Western Horoscope. For Gemini, October 4th arrives like a burst of electricity in the air, a day where words seem to flow effortlessly, ideas multiply faster than you can catch them, and opportunities for connection seem to sprout in every conversation. Mercury, your ruling planet, sharpens your wit and makes you quick on your feet, but this same mental velocity tempts you to scatter your energy into too many projects, too many calls, too many half-finished notes scribbled across your desk. The true gift of today lies in focus. If you have the discipline to choose just one major task, one key relationship, or one meaningful conversation, you will feel an almost magical sense of progress and reward. Imagine the satisfaction of channeling your normally wide river of thoughts into one powerful current. Suddenly, what usually feels like restless motion transforms into results. Relationships, too, feel lighter and more alive under today's sky. If there has been tension, humor acts as a gentle solvent. A well-placed joke, a playful comment, or even a bit of self-deprecating wit may soften hardened edges and open doors that felt closed. In your career, chance encounters are more significant than they appear. The colleague you run into at the coffee machine, the quick chat you have with a neighbor, or even a comment you make in an online forum could spark connections that turn into opportunities. The key here is balance. Speak with your usual brilliance, but also pause long enough to listen. The listening will transform casual chatter into lasting insight. Today rewards depth over quantity, but only if you resist the temptation to scatter yourself thin. Druid Horoscope. Your Druid tree is the elm, tall and graceful, with branches that stretch elegantly toward the sky. The elm symbolizes clarity of perspective and a broader vision of the world, reminding you that details matter only when anchored in the bigger picture. For Gemini, this tree's message today is vital. Do not lose yourself in gossip, small distractions, or the tiny dramas that easily catch your attention. Instead, rise like the elm's crown and view your situation from above. Imagine yourself stepping outside the storm of conversations and seeing the landscape of your life as a whole. Where are you headed? Which voices matter, and which are simply noise? The Druids believed elm carried wisdom that balanced action with contemplation, teaching us to invest our curiosity into truths that nourish rather than into trivialities that drain. On October 4th, when your mind is pulled in many directions, elm urges you to slow your speech and widen your sightline. Ask yourself before engaging in any debate or chatter, does this help me grow? If yes, speak. If not, let silence become your elegant companion. Vedic Horoscope. As Mithuna, Gemini is Mercury's child, and Mercury gives you your charm, your adaptability, and your talent for language. In the Vedic tradition, today is considered auspicious for starting anything connected with communication, contracts, or intellectual pursuits. Signing agreements today carries the blessing of clarity, provided you read carefully and ask the right questions. Writing projects flow with unusual ease, and you may find that inspiration feels less like effort and more like conversation with the universe itself. This is also a day to learn. A short course, a lecture, even a simple discussion with someone wiser than you can plant seeds that blossom far into the future. The nakshatra energy supports curiosity, but it cautions against overpromising. Mercury, though quick, sometimes pushes you to say, yes, before you thought it through. In Vedic wisdom, the highest form of communication is truthful and sustainable. Today, your words must be promises you can keep. Flower horoscope. Your flower is lavender, delicate in appearance but potent in essence, offering calm and clarity through its fragrance. On October 4th, lavender speaks directly to your restless Gemini mind. Peace is not the absence of thought, but the slowing of its whirlwind. Picture yourself inhaling deeply as though breathing in lavender itself, each breath a reminder that clarity comes when the storm inside your head begins to settle. Use this energy practically. Light a candle, hold a sprig of lavender, or create a calming ritual that anchors your thoughts. Lavender also reminds you that you cannot engage meaningfully with others if you are constantly pulled in a dozen directions. Just as lavender calms rooms with its scent, you too can bring tranquility into relationships by being fully present. Today, choose presence over speed, depth over distraction, and you will find both comfort and creativity blooming. Stone horoscope. Your stone is agate, a stabilizer of scattered minds. Agate does not flash with brilliance. Its beauty is quiet, layered, and patient, just like the kind of grounding you need today. Carrying agate on October 4th helps you transform restlessness into productivity, and it reminds you that your natural quickness doesn't need to be dulled, it simply needs a container. Imagine your thoughts as streams of water spilling in every direction. Agate acts like a vessel, channeling them into a shape you can drink from. If you are working on a project, place agate on your desk as a talisman of focus. If you are preparing for an important conversation, hold it briefly to calm nerves and center your mind. Its gift to Gemini is discipline without heaviness, grounding without killing curiosity. With agate, your energy doesn't disappear, it crystallizes into form. Numerology. The vibration of October 4th symbolizes change, curiosity, adventure, and dynamic freedom. For Gemini, a sign already ruled by Quicksilver Mercury, this is a double amplification of your natural tendencies. Yet the day also carries the hidden influence of the number 8 when broken into parts, reminding you of discipline, boundaries, and follow-through. This blend is powerful. You are invited to explore new horizons, but only if you complete what you start. Numerology warns you today. Unfinished tasks will drain your energy far more than unchosen ones. Better to commit to one project and see it through than to juggle 5 with no closure. Write down a list of your open loops, select one that matters most, and dedicate your focus there. Follow through is the hidden key that turns fleeting inspiration into lasting transformation. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. Western horoscope. October 4th awakens Cancer's emotional tides with unusual intensity. The moon, your ruler, heightens your sensitivity so that everything feels deeper, sharper, and closer to the heart. This can be overwhelming if you allow yourself to absorb too much of the world's noise, but it is also a superpower. You can sense what others cannot. At work, this means you may intuit unspoken concerns, read the atmosphere of a meeting more accurately than your colleagues, and respond with empathy that builds trust. If you let emotional intelligence guide your actions, you will find unexpected success. In relationships, this same depth can either nurture or suffocate, depending on how you wield it. If you cling, your loved ones may feel pressure. If you nurture, offering comfort without conditions, your bond will grow stronger. The advice is to love without gripping. At home, focus on order and harmony. A tidy environment creates a sanctuary where your heart feels protected. Even small acts, washing dishes, lighting a candle, arranging flowers, will soothe your inner waves. On October 4th, your gift is your depth. Your challenge is to avoid drowning in it. Druid Horoscope. Your Druid tree is the birch, symbol of renewal, new beginnings, and gentle purification. The birch does not grow through brute force. It grows gracefully, often being the first tree to reclaim empty land after fire or frost. For you, the birch whispers of fresh starts. Today calls for beginning something small but meaningful, planting a seed of change, writing the first page of a story, or choosing a simple new habit. Birch's message is purity. Start clean, without dragging past fears or judgments into this new act. Even if you've failed before, the birch reminds you that the first step can always be taken again. On October 4th, embody birch by making one decision that reflects renewal. Clear a space, forgive an old wound, or commit to one honest action that feels fresh. Vedic Horoscope. As Karka, Cancer is ruled by the moon, and in Vedic wisdom, this means your emotions are your compass. On October 4th, the moon encourages you to honor water, both literally and symbolically. Water rituals will balance your mood. A calming bath, a walk by the river, even sitting quietly with a cup of tea and treating it as a meditation. These acts align you with your ruling element and bring stability. Vedic astrology also advises reflection. Journaling your feelings today or practicing mantra recitation can help release anxiety. The lesson is to flow with emotion without being consumed by it. Water bends, moves, adapts, and always finds its way forward, so should you. Flower Horoscope. Your flower is the white rose, symbolizing innocence, sincerity, and beginnings without fear. On October 4th, the white rose calls you to see problems with new eyes. Do not assume every challenge is a repetition of the past. Approach situations as though you were encountering them for the first time, free of old scars. In relationships, this means giving someone the gift of trust without suspicion, at least for today. In work, it means seeing possibilities rather than obstacles. The white rose's purity is not naive, it is a conscious choice to meet life with openness. This energy heals wounds and makes space for growth. Stone Horoscope. Your stone is moonstone, glowing softly with mystery and intuition. On October 4th, it resonates strongly with you, amplifying your natural empathy and inner knowing. Carrying moonstone today is like carrying a quiet lantern in the dark. It doesn't blind with brightness, but it shows just enough to guide each step. Use moonstone when making decisions, especially in love or family matters, where logic feels inadequate. Trust your instincts. If you find yourself anxious, hold moonstone and imagine it cooling the turbulence in your heart. Its energy is not forceful but soothing, aligning you with your natural rhythm. Numerology. The vibration of October 4th reduces to 5, but its hidden echoes bring the discipline of 8. For Cancer, this is a call to strengthen your emotional boundaries. Compassion does not mean absorbing the burdens of everyone around you. Love is not self-sacrifice to the point of depletion. Numerology reminds you today that boundaries are a form of kindness. They protect not only you but also those who depend on your stability. Make a list of where your energy leaks. Relationships where you give too much, tasks that drain without reward, commitments that no longer align. Then, create one small boundary. Say, "Not today," to something that overwhelms you. This will allow your compassion to remain pure instead of turning into exhaustion. Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. Western Horoscope. For Leo, October 4th feels like stepping onto a stage that's been quietly set up for you while you were otherwise occupied. The lights are warm, the audience is attentive, and there's a hum of expectation in the air that both flatters and challenges you. The sun, your celestial monarch, is spotlighting your presence and amplifying your natural magnetism so that ordinary gestures register as performances. A confident stride down the hallway, a decisive comment in a meeting, a joke that lands and reshapes the mood of a room. Opportunities to shine arrive not always as explicit promotions or award ceremonies but as small, cumulative moments where your charisma can realign a conversation, rescue a floundering pitch, or be the emotional fulcrum that steadies a team. Yet with the sun's glow comes a twin risk: ego clashes. People will be looking at you, and some will mirror your energy back with equal force. An offhand demand for attention can be met with resistance, and a defensive retort can escalate into power struggles that neither of you intended. The real art for October 4th is leadership without monopolizing the light. When you lead, do it as if you're directing a play rather than taking a solo. Cast others into roles where they can shine, credit contributions publicly, and make room for quieter voices. That technique will transform admiration into loyalty rather than rivalry. Romance this day feels theatrical. Playful flirtations, dramatic declarations, and bold gestures are all on the menu, but the highest grade romance is the kind that laughs at its own theatrics and returns to honest, unadorned affection. If you're tempted to dramatize a conflict to feel seen, pause and ask whether the scene you're creating serves your long-term narrative or just the short-term rush. Practical tools for the day include a brief power check before you step into any spotlight. Take 3 slow breaths, visualize the outcome you want that includes other people, and name one person you will acknowledge publicly within the hour. If there's a negotiation, bring data and generosity. Lead with what you want and immediately offer a benefit the other side can claim. Let your flamboyance be the vehicle for uplift. Let your radiance build rather than burn. Druid Horoscope. Druids connect you with the ash, a tree sacred to visionaries and those who see beyond surfaces, and its counsel on October 4th is tactical humility paired with expansive sight. The ash doesn't just stand tall, it bridges canopy and root, translating sunlight into durable structure. For you, Leo, that image is an invitation to practice visionary restraint. Imagine your ambitions as architectural plans rather than fireworks. Spend time today sketching 3-year blueprints for one central project, not to lock yourself into a rigid future, but to transform your charisma into a scaffolded influence. Ash energy also suggests rituals that tether vision to land. Carve a small intent on a slip of paper and bury it near a potted plant, or carry a small piece of ash wood in your pocket as a tactile reminder to look for long-term potential in people and ideas. In social settings, the ash teaches you to read beyond applause. When someone compliments you, scan their posture, tone, and needs. Is this praise an opening to mentor, to collaborate, or simply to accept and move on? The Druidic approach softens showmanship into stewardship. Your natural gift for drawing attention becomes greatest when it is used to point others toward light rather than to bask alone in it. Vedic Horoscope. In Vedic terms, you are Simha, sovereign of the heart under the sun's governance, and the day's spiritual economy rewards small acts of generosity that expand authority organically. Vedic culture speaks of dana, giving, as a ladder to sovereignty that is both moral and magnetic. When you give, you do not diminish. You accrue influence that is reciprocated in trust and support. On October 4th, a modest, well-timed act of giving, mentoring a younger colleague for 30 minutes, covering a lunch for someone who's struggling, donating a useful resource, will send out ripples that increase your social capital in ways ostentation never could. The sun also favors midday practices that align your power with clarity. A short Surya Namaskar sequence at dawn or a 5-minute visualization facing the actual sun or a bright window to center your intentions. In negotiations or leadership moves, Vedic guidance asks you to perform your duty dharma with integrity. Aim to be both bold and fair. Ambition elevated by devotion to the right thing becomes enduring authority. Practically, reserve a small portion of your time or resources today specifically for someone else's uplift and observe how it changes the tone of interactions around you. Flower Horoscope. Your sunflower symbol is literal and instructive, loyal to light, oriented toward growth, and always turning. The sunflower teaches you that optimism is not arrogance, it is disciplined focus on what nourishes, done consistently. On October 4th, cultivate sunflower behaviors. Identify one fixed point of attention and return to it repeatedly. A weekly creative session, a mentoring hour, a signature piece of work. Let that repeated attention be the mechanism by which your natural radiance becomes sustainable achievement. Beware pride masquerading as confidence. A sunflower knows its orientation but does not block other plants from the sun. It casts generous shade and supports pollinators. To keep optimism healthy, check arrogance at the door with a simple habit. After you receive praise, proactively call out one teammate's contribution within 5 minutes. The flower also invites a tactile practice. Bring an image or a fresh bloom to your workspace to remind you visually and sensorially of the posture you're choosing: bright, oriented, and generous. Stone horoscope. Your stone is diamond, the epitome of clarity, endurance, and cutting brilliance. On October 4th, diamond's energy sharpens your ability to see through pretense and to articulate intention with crystalline precision. That helps when you need to make choices or to pierce foggy office dynamics. But diamond's other side is coldness and extreme polish, so apply it judiciously. Use clarity to expose solutions, not to wound. If you don't have a diamond, a clear quartz will emulate similar effects for sharpening focus. A practical exercise is to write out the illusions you might be carrying, the stories you tell yourself about what you must prove, then literally cross through each one and replace it with a pragmatic next step. Wearing or carrying diamond energy today helps you speak truth with elegance, concise, unflinching, and constructive. Use that power to simplify complexity rather than amplify drama. Numerology. Number 8's a call for discipline lands on you as a reminder that influence without structure is spectacle, not legacy. For Leo, the lesson is that power feels best and lasts longer when it uplifts others rather than simply showcasing self. Convert charisma into impact by designing 3 small, accountable actions that elevate people around you. Publicly praise a colleague and specify what they did, assign credit in a visible forum, and set aside time to mentor someone with clear goals and check-ins. Practically, create a 1-page uplift plan for the day that lists who you will intentionally support and how you will measure the effect. Then honor follow-up as sacred. Numerology asks you to treat influence like capital, invest it responsibly, track returns in human terms: confidence, capability, loyalty, and reinvest profits into communal growth. This disciplined approach turns your regal flair into durable leadership that people not only admire but follow. Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. Western horoscope. Virgo meets October 4th with a mind sharpened to scalpel edge and a heart that risks being reduced to checklist rhythm if you let analysis run unchecked. Mercury empowers your capacity to see systems, to edit chaos into function, and to perform reparative work others avoid. Yet the day's pressure can intensify the tendency to overanalyze every interaction until spontaneity is suffocated. Professionally, this makes you indispensable at troubleshooting moments. You'll spot the leak in a process, the missing clause in a contract, or the inefficient step that frees up hours for your team. Turn that gift into leadership by pairing critique with immediate, practical solutions. Don't just list what's wrong, propose a single, testable fix that can be implemented within a day. In relationships, your partner does not need a diagnosis, they need presence. Put down the corrective impulse and practice reflective listening. Repeat back what you heard and ask one gentle question rather than offering a dozen corrections. Health today is best served by simple routines that connect mind and body. A predictable meal schedule to tame digestion, a 10-minute grounding practice after work, and an early bedtime to honor nervous system recovery. To avoid perfectionist traps, limit fixes. Choose one area to refine today, set a clear threshold for good enough, and move on. Productivity techniques serve you well. Implement a strict Pomodoro or time blocking system with built-in pauses to prevent hyperfocus from becoming paralysis. Your power on October 4th comes from refined action rather than exhaustive interrogation. Work smarter by editing ruthlessly, not by polishing ad infinitum. Druid horoscope. The willow, flexible, resilient, and tuned to the flow of water, is your Druid guardian, and its whisper is a soft but firm instruction: bend, don't break. For Virgo, whose instinct often is to tighten against uncertainty, Willow offers the practice of supple response. Carve out a brief somatic ritual. 5 minutes of gentle side bends, shoulder rolls, and breath work to physically loosen the body that carries all that thinking. The Willow's lesson is also metaphoric. Allow plans to be revised by reality rather than defended by pride. Try a willow test when making decisions today. Ask yourself if your plan can be rerouted gracefully without emotional collapse. If yes, it's resilient. If not, redraw the plan with built-in exit points. The Druidic approach favors iterative change. Instead of solving once for all, adopt a posture of seasonal adjustments and small renewals. Vedic horoscope. As Kanya, you inherit Vedic emphasis on precision, ritual, and sacred order, and October 4th is ideally spent organizing your inner and outer altars. Clear your desk, tidy the spaces where you think, and create a small, focused altar of items that center you: a plant, a tidy notebook, a pen you love. Vedic practice holds that outer order mirrors inner clarity. A clean surface frees cognitive bandwidth and reduces decision fatigue. Beyond the physical, the Vedic path suggests a short midday mantra or breathing routine to recalibrate Mercury's quickness into steady discernment. If you are signing contracts or making health decisions today, perform a simple pause ritual. Breathe, recite a grounding phrase, and check that your choice aligns with daily practice rather than fleeting anxiety. The Vedic perspective rewards ceremony. Even a 5-minute ritual of organization turns mundane tasks into acts of devotion that sharpen results. Flower horoscope. Chrysanthemum is your floral emblem, a flower of clear intent, seasonal renewal, and bright focus, and it teaches you to simplify. On October 4th, apply chrysanthemum clarity by pruning commitments like a gardener trims dead branches. Take 1 hour to audit your obligations. Remove one recurring meeting that yields little, delegate a task you shouldn't be doing, and postpone a non-essential commitment. The chrysanthemum's lesson is that clarity often arrives through subtraction. By removing noise, you enhance signal. Use the flower's image when you feel overwhelmed. Visualize pruning until the essential stems remain, and tend those with deliberate care. Stone horoscope. Sapphire is your stabilizing stone, cooling the fever of overthinking and instilling rational calm. On October 4th, sapphire aids you in making decisions with equanimity rather than urgency. If you face a complex judgment call, hold a sapphire or imagine its deep blue serenity while you write down pros and cons, then step away for 10 minutes to let unconscious processing assist. Sapphire supports measured, reliable choices. It resists the pull toward hypercorrection. Use it as a prompt to translate critique into coaching. When you notice a flaw, articulate one specific improvement you can implement and the timeline to do it. This practice changes nitpicking into productive building. Numerology. Number 8's a push toward disciplined surfaces for you as a mandate to convert criticism into constructive action. Instead of cataloging what's broken, use the day to build pathways for repair. Create a one-page improvement brief that reframes each problem as an opportunity, pairs it with a single, measurable intervention, designates who is accountable, and sets a realistic deadline. Numerology here is practical. Structure your analytic eye into a project management tool. This reduces the emotional friction of pointing out flaws and increases the uptake of your insights, because people respond better to concrete pathways than to endless evaluations. For Virgo, 8 asks you to become a builder rather than a judge, turning your high standards into scalable systems that everyone can follow. Libra, September 23rd to October 22nd. Western horoscope. October 4th feels like standing in front of a great mirror for Libra, not the simple mirror that shows your surface, but the deep reflective pool that reveals what you present to the world alongside the shadows you often try to hide. The sun, radiant in your own sign, intensifies this effect, almost as though a spotlight has turned on both your grace and your blind spots. This duality is not meant to overwhelm you. It's an invitation to live in balance, the eternal theme of your life. The central question of this day is deceptively simple. Are you giving more than you are receiving, or taking more than you are offering? Work situations may test this in subtle ways. Diplomacy, one of your greatest talents, becomes your shield and sword. You know how to smooth tension, how to mediate conflicts, how to create a sense of harmony where chaos looms. But today demands that you exercise this without silencing your own voice. There's a risk that in trying to please everyone you dilute your authenticity, and your real strength lies in being charming and kind without being invisible. Relationships sparkle today because Venus, your ruler, drapes you in elegance and charisma. People notice your presence, your words, your gestures, and yet, the test is authenticity. Do not let beauty alone do the work. Speak from the heart, show your true intentions, and offer vulnerability. Artistry feels like medicine for the soul on this day. Whether through music, painting, writing, or simple creative acts like arranging your home, you will find balance by making beauty tangible. Symmetry is your language, and anything that restores proportion between work and rest, love and independence, self and others, will ground you. Druid Horoscope. The Druids gift you the olive tree, the eternal symbol of peace, wisdom, and reconciliation. The olive does not stand for fragile quietness. It stands for the resilient calm that grows even in rocky, dry soil, teaching that true peace comes not from the absence of conflict but from the mastery of compromise. On October 4th, the olive whispers, "Seek compromise, but not at the cost of yourself." You may face a decision where someone expects you to bend completely, but the olive reminds you that peace built on self-erasure will eventually wither. Compromise must honor both sides. Imagine the branches of the olive stretching outward, generous and fruitful, while its roots remain firmly in place. That is your model today. Extend, share, accommodate, but do not uproot yourself. If tension arises, take a breath before responding. Imagine yourself offering an olive branch not as surrender but as a gesture of balance. Vedic Horoscope. As Tula, Libra is under the governance of Venus, Shukra, planet of beauty, love, and refinement. Vedic wisdom on this day encourages you to beautify your surroundings as a sacred act. The state of your space mirrors the state of your mind. By clearing your environment, by arranging flowers, by lighting a lamp or incense, you align yourself with harmony. It is not indulgence, it is spiritual hygiene. A cluttered room creates restless thoughts, while a serene, balanced environment strengthens your decision-making. Today's nakshatra influence emphasizes clarity through order. In practical terms, make your desk, your living room, or your altar a temple of balance. A ritual bath or even adorning yourself with clothes or jewelry that make you feel radiant enhances your aura, attracting supportive energies in love and work. Flower Horoscope. Your flower is the rose, refined yet armed with thorns, the perfect emblem of Libra's paradox. The rose whispers its message for October 4th. Protect your softness with gentle boundaries. Your kindness is abundant, but kindness without limits invites exploitation. Like the rose, you can offer beauty, fragrance, and tenderness while carrying protective thorns that prevent careless handling. Today, practice saying yes with sincerity and no with elegance. In relationships, this balance transforms affection into respect. If tension arises, remember that even the most breathtaking rose cannot be stripped of its thorns and still survive. Stone Horoscope. Opal is your stone for this day, shimmering with colors that shift depending on light, much like you, Libra, who reflects and adapts to those around you. Opal enhances creativity, awakens imagination, and deepens emotional connections. On October 4th, it helps you lean into your artistic side, channeling ideas into tangible expressions. Its kaleidoscopic nature reminds you that you are not one-dimensional, you contain multitudes. Yet it also warns against scattering energy too thinly across too many identities or projects. Carry opal, wear it as jewelry, or simply meditate with its imagery of dancing colors to remind yourself of your full spectrum, while also focusing on expressing one facet clearly today. Numerology. The day's vibration carries the number 8, which for Libra resonates with justice, responsibility, and the eternal balancing of scales. Number 8 demands discipline, not harsh, military control, but the discipline of fairness. It whispers, align heart with law, desire with responsibility. This may mean making a choice that feels difficult in the moment but is right in the larger picture. If you are faced with a dilemma, ask yourself not just, what do I want, but also, what is fair to all? When 8 meets Libra, the message is clear. Justice is love in structured form. Scorpio, October 23rd to November 21st. Western horoscope. October 4th arrives with an almost volcanic intensity for Scorpio, stirring desires, fears, and hidden truths to the surface. You may feel as though the day is testing you in both passion and patience. The moon's energy encourages inner reflection, illuminating the corners of your psyche where you've stored secrets, grudges, or unrealized dreams. Something you have carried quietly, perhaps for months or years, may knock at your door today, asking for release. Professionally, this could manifest as a hidden ally stepping forward, someone who has quietly observed your power and now offers support. But be mindful, not every ally reveals themselves fully, and hidden motives may be at play. Trust intuition over appearances. In relationships, your magnetism intensifies. You may feel both irresistibly drawn to others and suspicious of them. This tension can easily flare into jealousy or control if you're not careful. The challenge for October 4th is choosing depth over drama. If you channel this intensity into transformative conversations, soul-bearing honesty, or passionate creativity, you emerge stronger. If you sink into suspicion or manipulation, the fire consumes rather than illuminates. The day asks you, will you let passion purify, or will you let fear poison? Druid horoscope. Your Druid tree is the walnut, mighty, mysterious, and protective. The walnut carries a reputation for holding secrets within its strong shell, and its wisdom today is twofold. Protect your secrets, but don't let them become poison. On October 4th, the walnut urges you to discern carefully what should remain private and what must finally be released. There is strength in discretion, but silence carried too long becomes toxic. The Druid saw walnut as a tree that shields but also demands clarity. For you, that means practicing intentional sharing. Speak truths that heal and protect the rest. Vedic horoscope. As Vrishika, Scorpio falls under the fiery command of Mars, Kuja, planet of energy, discipline, and drive. Vedic teaching for today emphasizes channeling passion into disciplined practices. Yoga, martial arts, focused study, or even rigorous work sessions will help you transform raw intensity into strength. Left unfocused, Mars energy becomes aggression or recklessness. Channeled properly, it becomes extraordinary willpower. October 4th is also a day for spiritual cleansing. A short meditation, a mantra dedicated to Mars, or a fire ritual can stabilize the flame within you. Flower horoscope. Your flower is the dark orchid, exotic and enigmatic, carrying an aura of mystery. On October 4th, it reflects your natural allure. Others may find you fascinating, magnetic, impossible to ignore. But the dark orchid also warns against overcomplicating matters. Not every situation requires hidden meanings or labyrinthine strategies. Sometimes beauty lies in simplicity. Let your mystery inspire, but don't let it entangle you in unnecessary drama. Stone horoscope. Obsidian, black and volcanic, is your stone. It shields from negativity, grounds turbulent emotions, and cuts through illusions. On October 4th, obsidian serves as armor and mirror. It protects you from external negativity while also reflecting back your inner truths, even those you'd rather not see. Hold it, meditate with it, or keep it near your workspace to stay rooted when passions rise. Its gift to you is clarity through grounding. Numerology. Number 8 sharpens your sense of karma today, Scorpio. What you give will return quickly, like an echo in a cavern. If you offer kindness, it will circle back in surprising ways. If you yield to control or jealousy, those too will rebound sharply. The law of cause and effect is accelerated under this number's influence. Act with integrity, because today your power is immense, but so are the consequences. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. Western horoscope. For Sagittarius, October 4th is like a grand map unfurling before your eyes, a scroll that doesn't just show cities and roads, but the invisible pathways of possibility that branch out in all directions. This is not a small day for you, but one that feels drenched in potential. Jupiter, your mighty ruler, is swelling with expansive energy, urging you to look farther, dream bigger, and embrace horizons that are not yet within reach. Adventure is calling your name, even if you cannot physically set sail or hop on a plane. The adventure might come through a book that challenges your worldview, a podcast that sparks new curiosity, or an unexpected conversation that opens doors in your mind. Today your optimism is not only a personal feeling but a contagious force. People are drawn to your vision, your laughter, your enthusiasm for what is possible. Career paths may feel illuminated by this energy, particularly opportunities tied to education, publishing, or global connections. A conversation with someone from another culture or background could lead to a breakthrough idea, a collaboration, or even a chance to pursue something abroad. Yet there is a caution embedded in this energy. Because you shine so brightly with enthusiasm, it's tempting to overpromise, to say yes to everything, or to believe that energy alone will sustain your ideas. October 4th urges you to ground this optimism in structure. Write down your goals, make the plan, not just the dream. Otherwise, Jupiter's fire burns out too quickly. In love, the playfulness of your spirit is irresistible. Your humor, your joy, and your willingness to make even an ordinary moment into a spontaneous adventure will win hearts. But again, honesty matters. Don't promise what you cannot deliver, because while your charm captures attention, reliability sustains connection. The entire day feels like a canvas waiting for your brushstrokes. Just remember to finish what you start, to color not only with fire but also with patience. Druid Horoscope. Your Druid tree is the chestnut, and on October 4th, it stands tall, rooted in honesty. Chestnut trees in Celtic lore were symbols of fairness, integrity, and straightforwardness, reminding us that true strength comes from living in alignment with truth rather than convenience. The chestnut's advice for you today is simple yet profound. Speak honestly, even if the words are uncomfortable. You may be tempted to soften the truth, to use humor or exaggeration to avoid difficult moments, but the chestnut calls for clean, clear words. Think of the tree's spiky outer shell that protects its fruit. You too may feel that your truths are sharp on the outside, but at the core, they contain nourishment and strength. A conversation that has been avoided might surface today, and while it may challenge you, your honesty will plant seeds of respect that grow stronger with time. Vedic Horoscope. As Danu, Sagittarius radiates fire, a sign carried forward by Jupiter's generosity and expansion. In Vedic tradition, October 4th holds the lesson of honoring those who came before you. Gratitude is the key that unlocks doors under this nakshatra's influence. Offering prayers or even simple acknowledgement to your teachers, mentors, or elders brings blessings that ripple outward. This doesn't have to be ceremonial. A heartfelt message, a quiet moment of reflection, or even studying with genuine devotion can open channels of wisdom. Jupiter energy is magnified when it flows through gratitude, and on this day, honoring guidance received in the past strengthens your ability to lead others in the future. Flower Horoscope. Your flower is the carnation, vibrant and enduring, with colors that range from bold reds to delicate pinks. On October 4th, the carnation teaches loyalty to ideals, a reminder that your adventurous spirit does not have to drift aimlessly. Like the carnation, which can thrive in many conditions yet always holds its form, your ideals give you shape and strength, even in unfamiliar territory. The flower whispers that it's not enough to chase excitement. It is devotion to your core values that makes your journeys meaningful. Stone Horoscope. Topaz is your stone, golden and glowing, a gem associated with wisdom, fortune, and illumination. On October 4th, topaz amplifies clarity of thought and attracts good fortune when worn or meditated upon. Its energy enhances your natural optimism but adds a layer of wisdom, helping you separate genuine opportunities from fleeting distractions. Topaz tells you, abundance comes when fire is guided by light. Today, it's the ally that helps you aim your bow not just anywhere, but at a true target. Numerology. The day's number is 8, and for Sagittarius, it arrives as a grounding force. Number 8 represents structure, responsibility, and the karmic law of balance. For you, who thrives on freedom and inspiration, this can feel restrictive, but in truth, it's the support beam that holds up the dream. On October 4th, the message is, anchor your vision. Enthusiasm will take you far, but only discipline will carry you all the way. Inspiration is the spark, but the plan is the fuel. Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. Western horoscope. October 4th speaks your language, Capricorn, the language of responsibility, structure, and long-term vision. While other signs may resist the day's serious undertones, you understand them instinctively. Saturn, your ruler, pushes you toward long-term thinking, as though the universe itself is asking, what foundations are you building today that will still stand a decade from now? Career matters come sharply into focus, bringing both pressure and progress. It's a day when you may feel the weight of duty, but that weight is also shaping your strength. A project or task that demands precision could present itself, and though it feels heavy, your steady approach ensures it will lead to future recognition and success. The paradox is this: the more structure you build today, the more freedom you grant yourself tomorrow. In love, your natural reserve may surface, making you appear distant. But those who know you understand that your loyalty speaks louder than words. You may not always express affection in grand gestures, but your consistency is devotion in its purest form. Still, the day nudges you to soften, to allow warmth to flow through, because ambition without tenderness builds walls instead of bridges. Your greatest challenge today is balance. Ambition can blind you to the need for rest. Saturn's lessons are hard, but even Saturn allows moments of restoration. If you burn yourself out in pursuit of tomorrow, you rob yourself of today. Take time for grounding activities, a walk in nature, a nourishing meal, or quiet reflection, to remind yourself that discipline is not about punishment but sustainability. Druid horoscope. Your Druid tree is the pine, evergreen and enduring, a tree that thrives in harsh conditions and remains green through the winter. The pine whispers resilience into your ear, reminding you that your strength is not about hardness but about longevity. On October 4th, its advice is, resilience is power, but allow moments of softness. You are capable of withstanding storms, but the pine also releases its sweet scent, reminding us that even strength can carry gentleness. Today, embody both. Stand firm in your commitments, but let your humanity show. Vedic horoscope. As Makara, Capricorn falls under the authority of Saturn, Shani, the great teacher. In Vedic wisdom, October 4th calls for honoring your elders, your ancestors, or the traditions that carried you here. Wisdom flows through these channels, and by acknowledging them, you align yourself with Saturn's blessings rather than only its tests. A small ritual, an offering, or even remembering the words of someone who shaped your path can bring clarity today. Saturn's energy feels heavy when resisted, but when respected, it becomes your greatest ally. Flower horoscope. Your flower is the violet, modest and unassuming yet persistent. The violet does not demand attention but quietly fills the air with fragrance and beauty. On October 4th, it teaches you that true strength does not always shout, sometimes it whispers. Let your power today be subtle, steady, and consistent rather than flamboyant. The violet tells you, strength can be quiet and still leave an unforgettable mark. Stone horoscope. Your stone is garnet, a deep red gem symbolizing endurance, devotion, and vitality. Garnet energizes without overwhelming, offering a steady fire that sustains rather than burns out. On October 4th, garnet strengthens your ability to commit fully, whether in work, love, or personal projects. Its grounding quality reminds you that loyalty to your goals and relationships builds foundations stronger than any temporary achievement. Carrying or wearing garnet today can enhance stamina and help you honor your responsibilities without draining your spirit. Numerology. Number 8 aligns perfectly with Capricorn, resonating with your innate understanding of discipline, structure, and long-term success. For you, this number feels like home. But its lesson is worth remembering. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. On October 4th, this vibration supports you in turning effort into achievement, vision into reality. If you commit today, the rewards will echo for years. The number 8 tells you, the work you put in now is not a burden, but the key to unlocking the future you already see in your mind. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. Western horoscope. October 4th opens Aquarius to innovation in a way that feels like the air around you is charged with electricity. Ideas come not as slow trickles but as lightning bolts, sudden, brilliant, and impossible to ignore. You may wake up with a vision that changes how you approach your work, or a conversation may spark a thought that grows into something revolutionary. This is not a day for ordinary solutions. At work, your originality is your currency. The more you think outside the box, the more you will stand apart from others who stick to tradition. Yet with this flood of inspiration comes a challenge. Will you act on your ideas or simply let them flash and fade? Today demands that you ground at least one of these sparks into a concrete plan. In relationships, there's a risk of leaning too heavily on the intellectual, of connecting only through ideas and conversations while forgetting the tenderness of heart-to-heart presence. Detachment, while comfortable for you, may leave others feeling unseen. The day's task is to balance the brilliance of your mind with the warmth of your heart. Socially, October 4th shines as an excellent day for teamwork and brainstorming. Group settings bring out your visionary nature, and others may look to you as the one who sees possibilities where no one else does. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your vision. Your words can set fire to the imaginations of those around you. This is also a day to envision the future, to think about where you are going not just personally, but collectively. Innovation and humanitarian dreams are your realm, and today the cosmos gives you the clarity to merge them. Druid Horoscope. Your Druid tree is the hazel, revered in Celtic wisdom as the tree of knowledge and inspiration. On October 4th, the hazel calls you to share your knowledge, not to keep it locked within. This tree was believed to drop nuts of wisdom into sacred wells, feeding the salmon of knowledge. Likewise, your role today is to let your ideas feed the collective pool. The hazel's wisdom is not selfish, it recognizes that intelligence grows when it circulates. If you withhold your thoughts out of fear of judgment, you stifle the very energy the hazel encourages. Instead, be generous, share insights, teach others, guide with clarity. The act of offering knowledge strengthens your own wisdom. Vedic Horoscope. As Kumbha, Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Rahu, blending discipline with unconventional vision. In Vedic tradition, October 4th carries the auspicious charge of humanitarian acts. Helping someone without expectation, even in a small way, aligns you with Saturn's responsibility and Rahu's expansive reach. It may be as simple as mentoring a colleague, offering guidance to a friend, or assisting a stranger. Such acts amplify your karmic bank, opening channels for blessings in unexpected ways. Saturn anchors your work in reality, while Rahu stretches your imagination beyond boundaries. Today, they ask you to use both forces to serve others. Flower Horoscope. Your flower is the orchid, rare, unusual, and elegant. Unlike flowers that bloom predictably, the orchid thrives under unique conditions, mirroring your own life approach. On October 4th, the orchid reflects your individuality. It tells you that your unconventional ideas are not flaws but strengths. The orchid whispers, embrace your uniqueness even if it sets you apart. Elegance does not always mean conformity. This is the day to celebrate the extraordinary in yourself and in others. Stone Horoscope. Your stone is amethyst, a gem of intuition, clarity, and spiritual shielding. On October 4th, amethyst strengthens your inner knowing, helping you distinguish between genuine inspiration and confusing noise. Its violet glow acts as both compass and shield, guiding you toward truth while protecting you from deception or scattered thought. If you find yourself overwhelmed by too many ideas or social energies, keeping amethyst close restores focus. It channels your lightning bolt insights into steady streams of wisdom. Numerology. Number 8 pushes Aquarius to balance freedom with responsibility. You are naturally drawn to revolution, change, and progress, but 8 reminds you that revolution without structure collapses under its own weight. On October 4th, the lesson is clear: build wisely. Take your radical vision and ground it in systems that can last. If your dreams are castles in the sky, 8 is the foundation that ensures they won't crumble. Freedom and discipline are not enemies, they are partners. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. Western Horoscope. For Pisces, October 4th feels like wandering through a dream both beautiful and strange, where the veil between imagination and reality grows thin. Neptune, your ruling planet, casts its misty glow, blurring boundaries and urging you to lean into intuition. Logic may falter, but your inner compass shines. This is a day where creativity flows effortlessly. Writers, artists, musicians, healers, and anyone who works with imagination will find themselves in deep currents of inspiration. Career opportunities may come not through rigid plans but through sudden flashes of insight or serendipitous meetings. Yet there is a shadow here. Illusions can also be strong. Promises may shimmer with appeal but dissolve under closer inspection. Be cautious in contracts, agreements, or anything that seems too good to be true. In love, tenderness rules. You are gentle, compassionate, and ready to nurture. Relationships feel bathed in softness and emotional closeness can blossom. However, the temptation to escape, whether through fantasy, avoidance, or even overindulgence in comfort, could lead to misunderstandings. Your strength today lies in simplicity. Ground yourself in small routines, making tea, tidying your space, walking in nature. These anchor points will keep you from floating too far into the dream. Druid horoscope. Your Druid tree is the willow, mystical and linked to water, the realm of emotions and magic. On October 4th, the willow tells you to embrace emotion fully, but to let it move rather than drown you. Like a willow tree swaying at the river's edge, you are flexible, responsive, and deeply attuned to the tides of feeling. Yet if you cling too tightly to sorrow, fear, or longing, those waters can overwhelm you. The willow whispers, "Let emotions flow like the river. Feel them, honor them, but do not let them root you in sadness." Motion is your salvation. Vedic horoscope. As Mina, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, Guru, planet of wisdom, expansion, and spiritual teaching. Vedic advice for October 4th is to meditate, for silence will reveal answers your logic cannot. The nakshatra influence today supports inner journeys more than outer ones. A quiet moment with closed eyes, a mantra, or even simple breath awareness will open channels of wisdom that feel otherworldly. Jupiter's guidance encourages you to seek teachers not just in human form but in silence, in dreams, in symbols that appear during stillness. Flower horoscope. Your flower is the water lily, floating on water yet rooted in the depths below. It mirrors your duality, spiritual and grounded, dreamlike yet practical when you choose. On October 4th, the water lily's message is clear. Spirituality is strongest when rooted in reality. You can dream high, but you must stay anchored. Otherwise, the dream withers without nourishment. Let your roots, your routines, your responsibilities, your care for your body, feed the blossom of your soul. Stone horoscope. Your stone is aquamarine, blue as ocean depths, a gem of calm, clarity, and flow. On October 4th, aquamarine helps you move gently through emotional waves, soothing turbulence and deepening your intuition. It is a stone of healing, encouraging both honesty and compassion. Meditating with aquamarine or carrying it with you can transform confusion into clarity, offering the calm perspective needed to distinguish truth from illusion. Numerology. Number 8 reminds Pisces of a crucial lesson. Compassion is powerful, but without boundaries, it becomes exhaustion. On October 4th, you may feel the urge to give endlessly, to absorb the pain of others, to merge fully with their experiences. But 8 insists, protect yourself. Boundaries are not barriers to love but the framework that sustains it. Today, practice saying no when needed, not to diminish your kindness but to preserve it. Compassion thrives when it is guarded.